Welcome back to Statistics Tutorials using Excel. In this episode, we're going to take a look at how to calculate a confidence interval for the mean using the t-distribution. And to do this, we're going to use the Data Analysis Tool Pack. So to get there, we're going to choose the Data option up here on the menu, and then we're going to go over to Data Analysis, and then we're going to select Descriptive Statistics. Once this comes up, we're going to have to tell it what our input range of the data is. So I'll click the arrow next to the dialog box right there. And I'll go ahead and I'll select the data that I want, including the variable name. And there are 25 data points, and this data represents the cost per gallon of gas in West Michigan. That data is arranged in columns, so we need to make sure that radio box is checked. And then the labels in the first row, I have the variable name in the first row of the data, so I'm going to leave that checked. And then the output range, we just have to tell this function where we want the output to be placed. So I'm going to select these cells right here, and it doesn't matter if it's not the exact size of what the output's going to be, it just gives it the general area. And then down here, we're going to select summary statistics, and we're also going to select the confidence level for the mean. And then once you have those selected, you'll go ahead and say OK, and this is going to generate a table that provides output for us. There's a few things that I want to label in here. First of all, our point estimate is really our sample mean right here. Right below the mean is our standard error. Remember, the standard error is the standard deviation from the sample divided by the square root of the sample size. The standard deviation, that's clearly labeled right here. I'll just label that again as standard deviation. The count is actually the sample size. And then down here where it says confidence level, this is a little bit misleading. It's actually the margin of error. So this value of 0.039075, this is the margin of error for the confidence interval. All of the things that I highlighted over here on the right and relabeled those are all things that we would use if we're calculating a confidence interval. We're going to do this real simply by writing a formula in order to calculate the lower and the upper bound of the confidence interval. So if you recall, to calculate our confidence interval, the formula that we're looking at is x bar, which is our point estimate, plus or minus t, our confidence level multiplier, times s, our standard deviation, divided by the square root of our sample size n. The standard error is the sample standard deviation divided by the square root of n. That's given to us, but they're already taking the liberty of taking this value and multiplying it by the confidence level multiplier for the 95% confidence interval with 24 degrees of freedom. So that's already calculated for us. So really all we have to do at this point is take this margin of error and add and subtract it to that point estimate. And that'll give us our lower bound and our upper bound. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the formula in order to do this using the output that's already provided. So I'm going to start with an equal sign for the formula. I want to take my point estimate, which is at 2.9388. And to get my lower bound, I'm subtracting the margin of error from that point estimate. So I'm going to say minus, and then that value right there. When I hit enter, that gives me my lower bound of the confidence interval. To get my upper bound, again, I'm going to start with an equal to indicate that we're doing a function here. I'll take my point estimate, and this time I'm going to add my margin of error to that point estimate. And our margin of error is right there. And when I hit enter, you'll see that it spits out our upper bound. So our lower bound is 2.899725, and our upper bound is 2.977875. Or we could say we are 95% confident that our population mean for the average cost of gas in West Michigan is between $2.90, if we round that value, to $2.98 per gallon on average.